What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Creature Cast, the official Console Creatures podcast. I'm your host today, Steve Egvarian, alongside me, my good pal Bobby. How the heck are you today?
Doing beautiful, my good sir. Off the top, I want to say how are you, but I also want to say we just got a new intro, and I'm getting used to it because we have the pre-roll, and it's like for so long, you know what it is. Now it's like I was waiting for that cue to kick in and never came, but like this new beat is busting, and I like it. But
No,
other than that,
absolutely. It got me fired up. It threw me off completely because, yeah, like you, I'm just like waiting for the moment where and then you jump in. No, it's completely new. Definitely loving it. It's a nice change of pace. We've been doing this for how long?
we're at like 100 and some odd. We've over 150 episodes. I think actually we might be coming up on 150. So
That's insane. So, of course, time for a refresh. It's springtime, spring cleaning. Get a new intro out. No, I'm doing good. I'm excited. I'm fired up this week because of last week. What we did, the unthinkable. We did something so cool. And if you guys clicked on this episode, I'm sure you guys know exactly what we're going to be talking about this week. We're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2. We went, courtesy of Nintendo Canada, we went to the Nintendo Switch 2 experience here in Toronto or Canada, if you want to make it that broad. But yeah, downtown Toronto, we went to the Switch 2 experience, got to go hands-on with the Switch 2, a ton of games. You and I kind of just floated around, started putting our greasy little mitts on a whole bunch of different games, as well as some really big tentpole games as well. So that's very exciting. And that's exactly what this week's episode is going to be all about. We spent collectively, I mean, between you and I mean, we each spent 3 hours and some change, maybe, playing different games and everything. So yeah, I want to go through everything. I want to go through our hands-on impressions about touching the Switch 2 hardware, the Pro controller, peripherals, stuff like that, and then as well cover all of our experiences playing the games just ahead of its launch later in June 5th. It's an exciting time. I mean, we've been covering this all year long, ever since they first started teasing it and giving us some great breadcrumbs for the hardware. So it feels like we've come to the precipice of a very pinnacle moment in the hype cycle. We got our pre-orders in, we got those locked and loaded, we touched the console. I'm feeling really jazzed about this. So to kick it over to you, Bobby, I really want to know, we got there to the Switch 2 experience in Toronto, walked in. It's an entire, presentation. You go down like this full hall with, well, first off, you get into this room, this secluded room where you get to see the Switch 2 and all of its peripherals on display. And then came the moment, got to hold the little Switch in our hands, the little handheld. Let's start there, Bobby. How did you feel touching the thing, holding it in your hands? First blush impressions of holding the Nintendo Switch.
It was like holding a brand new baby.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got that same feeling, but it was just like you walk into that delivery room and it's like, whoa, there it is. After years of thinking about it, it's like it's finally there. And like, yeah, it was cool. Like you walk in, there's already people, starting to walk into this place, and people were pretty they gave you the space to enjoy it yourself. Like there wasn't a crowd behind you waiting. Like if you wanted to look at the Switch, you could pick it up, you could hold it, you could, physically just like imagine what it would look like in your hands. And like it feels really good. Like it right off the bat, I was like, this is way more comfortable than the Switch. It obviously the same dimensions, thickness wise, and like it feels like it just feels like the right evolution for the Switch after like almost 9 years of having, that same little console that could, like it's been powering through, and finally, we're a month away from this launch, and it's really cool to have it, that first blush with it. Like you said, like it's just so cool. You hold in your hands, like the Joy-Cons feel amazing. The magnetic locks are incredible. Like I love that. Everything was positive for me. Like the first time I held it, I was like, this is great. Like I really can't wait till June. Like I want to have it in my own environment where I'm on the couch or I'm in bed playing. It's not just standing there looking at it, feeling like it was great. It was great overall, amazing. Like I love what you did with it. all the peripherals were there. I loved every single one they showed. The GameCube controller is incredible. The Pro controller too is phenomenal. It's the original Pro controller is still like the best controller I've ever owned. Just in terms of build quality and battery, like it still holds on. Like the charge is incredible.
Oh, the battery is nuts.
Oh, it's amazing. So yeah, it's just everything about that day was just A+. Like I really felt like it was a great way to bring this community together that you rarely see, because like Nintendo barely holds events. So
that is true.
To have that in Toronto, it's like, yes, this is really cool. It's so different than going to like an Xbox event or like a PlayStation event, and it reminds me exactly why like Nintendo is still kind of the king of what they do, right? I mean, despite people might not agree with their hardware being up to par with like PS5 Pro or the Xbox Series, like it's not about the hardware with Nintendo. It's about the experience. Like everything around it is it's so well thought out, and you feel it as soon as you walk into this place. And that's kind of where I was at. I was like, this is really cool. Like I would love to see even like PlayStation kind of emulate it, but it's been different with them, and thankfully we have Nintendo to do these events, right? It's really cool.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that there was a lot of craft and thought put into the way it was all curated, giving us enough time to see every little aspect of the peripherals, the hardware itself. Full transparency, when we went hands-on with the Switch 2 the first time in that room, it was turned off. We couldn't really play a game. We couldn't really see the display in full and everything. That's going to come later. But that being said, when I first held the thing, the first thing that came to mind was like, wow, the larger screen, the 7.9-inch LCD is immediately recognizable. Like we are seeing a bump in display. It's slightly bigger, not too much wider. It feels good in your hands right off the hop. I am, willing to say that it's somewhat close in comparison to like a Steam Deck or a PlayStation Portal, not necessarily within the weight distribution, but just in terms of its sheer size, the way that you're holding it in your hands and looking down at it. It looks good. It feels good. There's almost like a matte finish on the display and the Joy-Cons. It feels really nice in your fingertips. You talked about the magnetics, and by golly, that is so like the sensation of it, of like clicking it on and like feeling it snap back is so gratifying in such a way.
It's amazing.
Like, the way I've been explaining it to people who didn't get a chance to go, and I'm just like, talking and waxing poetic about this entire experience. It's like a hands-on experience of every time that Nintendo like does their like snap during a direct or something like that visceral. That we finally reached that moment when you click in the Joy-Con 2s back into the Nintendo Switch 2. It just feels so
more tactile, way more tactile.
Yeah, and it has like an audible noise to it. I just really appreciate that. Some of the other things that really stood out to me, the kickstand is great.
Way better.
Great upgrade. Yeah, the ability to just like put it at such an angle now, and it not just be this little kick pedal, it's this entire wedge. Really gives you a much better way to. I can envision myself using it much better now on like an airplane or something like that, or on a smaller desk where you don't have to really worry about the display kind of being knocked over.
It has all that. If you've like, for myself, I'm kind of familiar with the magnetic just because like I have a Lenovo Legion Go, and it's got it's the same thing. But the difference is here it's just way more satisfying on the Switch. It's that sound that it makes it. This one has a sound like it, but it's just that Nintendo. Yeah, it's that Nintendo snap. Like what it is. You hear it, you're like,
Yeah. The other thing I really like, and I mean, we knew about this, but just kind of seeing it and really taking the time to appreciate it was seeing the dual USBs, like one on top, one on the bottom. That's perfect for me.
I needed that. 100% needed that. My only thing I was kind of disappointed was there's no kind of like an exploded like frame with all the internals on display. That would have been really cool. Just to have like, here's what's inside the Switch.
Oh, yes.
That would have been cool. Like just in the middle of it where everything's just,
see the guts of
illuminated
it all.
with,
Yeah,
see all the guts, see what it's inside. I would have loved to see that. Like, it's just
that is true. I'm a big sucker for that. Asus did that for their ROG Ally X and showing all the like. Here's the fans. Here's the CPU. Here's the GPU. Here's the battery. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing.
It's a very niche thing, but like honestly, it would go a long way. I would have loved to have that picture, just front and center.
Yeah, no, that is true. I do like it when, well, I mean, even PlayStation did that with the PSVR 2. That's what they did. Yeah, they did
and like you can buy like that Grid. I think it's Grid CC who did that company that has like those frames you can buy. Like I love that stuff. Like it's such a unique way to honor these consoles. Is just having this thing you can like put on your wall, and it's got all the internals beautifully rendered and labeled, and that's great. But like whatever, that's fine. It's just a little nitpick, but like that would have been so cool just to showcase like here's where we've come from to this thing, and then it's like
yeah, no, I completely agree. And then, afterwards, got to spend some time with the hardware, and then we get shuffled off into really the first play area of 3 major demo stations. And the first, of course, we're talking about Mario Kart World. We've talked about it on the show. We've talked about our excitement for this game.
Yep.
So this was our very first chance to go hands-on with it. The first station that we kind of all got ushered into, 24 people, no less, was just a regular Grand Prix match where you're going through four different races. Obviously, with Mario Kart World, it's all interconnected tracks, so you're going from one race right into the next. Bobby, how was it? How was your first time playing Mario Kart World?
So the first one, the first match was just chaotic, and I think that's kind of what Mario Kart is. It's chaos, right? So like imagine a 12, we all know a 12-person race is pretty chaotic, but like the first time you experience that 24-person race where not only is the course bigger, it's wider, so you have more room to drive and all that. It's just crazy. To play this game is insane. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play it a lot, just because like it's such a game you really have to hyper focus on. Like you have to be aware of everything at all times, and what's coming at you, who's behind you. But it's great. Like I feel like it is a really cool step up from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mean, I love Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but it's just a lot to process at one time. Like you're just constantly moving your head about, and you're watching things, and it's like, whoa, how do you you need to be like I said, just really focus on the road and hope no one hits you with a shell, because like. I got hit like 8 times. I went from first place to second to fourth, and like I ended up being 12th. And it was it was insane.
That's the funny thing is like I find myself to be a pretty competent Mario Kart player. I can hold my own, especially in like 150cc. Worth pointing out that we were playing at 100cc, so immediately it felt a little slower than I would have preferred. But that being said, like I can usually hold like. I'm not trying to bolster myself, but like top 5 at least the top 5 ranks pretty consistently. In Mario Kart World, it really does feel like even if you're first, you're not first for that long, because every single time, like you're being hit by, you got 24 players on the track, and they're always just throwing stuff at you. You got bananas, you got shells, you got all the new abilities as well, like the ice flower or the feather and stuff like that. Like there are new challenges and new ways to kind of just throw your opponents off. And I feel like with 24 players on the track, there's always something going on. You never really truly feel safe in the Grand Prix. And I like that because it makes it a little more exciting. But even me, I was going through it. I was like, oof, maybe I'm rusty. Maybe I'm just, excited and a little thrown off my game here, but I just was not performing that great.
There's just so much happening, and you really need to be like aware of like you're not just playing with your friends, you're playing well for the first one, like we were paired up. So like I was with Caboose, so like I played with Caboose.
Cool.
We were playing together.
I was with a friend of the show, Marcel D. He's been on the show before, but and we were going through it. I think I ended up in 5th or 4th, and he ended up in 3rd. Like we were neck and neck, like right at the finish line, and like he beat me just by a few seconds. But you go through it, and it is Mario Kart through and through. I was really interested getting into it. what the difference is, whether they would be subtle or larger going through these races of, okay, is this a brand new game? Does this feel like kind of like an expansion? But to me, I do feel like this is a brand new game, especially when you start hitting tracks where you can jump up on the rails and you can create speed boosts like that, and you're still drifting. Like there are so many new layers to it to incorporate the new gameplay elements. Also, the amount of coins you can collect are doubled, so it goes up to 20 now. So even more so now, the incentive to collect coins to get that speed boost, to get that, you know, progressive speed boost is even more apparent. Like you need to go prioritize grabbing the coins, grab your items out of the boxes and stuff like that. It's a lot to manage with 24 players on the track, but I had a lot of fun with it. It looks gorgeous on a big screen. We were playing it in dock mode in that first instance, and then I'm assuming you did as well. They gave you the other option to play it in handheld mode.
So yeah, our first one, there's like you have to play it docked, like you have to do it this way, blah blah blah. That's fine.
Yeah.
But then after they're like, well, now you're gonna try it docked, or sorry, handheld. So like they let us, you know, play on our own. So like that obviously that match that came in first, it was very easy because it's all computers.
Yep.
But yeah, playing with other people on a screen is just so much more difficult. And like I mean, that second match is kind of where I started seeing where all the pricing discussion really started to come in, because I was like, what's special about this game? That second match, I was like, whoa. Because the second match, while you're waiting, you have access to that open world, and you're kind of just driving around and you're waiting. And like for me, it was just like I had to wait like 2 minutes, so I was just driving around Donkey Kong, going. Yeah,
let's talk about that for a moment. So the second instance when they shuffled us off into the next room was curated to the knockout mode. This kind of almost like a battle royale-esque, almost like Fall Guys, where you have 24 players, and incrementally between each race, if you don't rank high enough, you get kicked off. It's done. You're toasted, and then every player kind of progresses from one match to the next, all seamless. It never stops. So you're incentivized to always keep going, never stop. So that was the second instance, and before the match actually started, as more people are coming to their demo stations and everything, because they wanted, this is a full multiplayer experience, all 24 players jumping into one instance. They had us explore the open world a little bit, and that's where you got to see the world of Mario Kart World. And were you able to really do anything? Because for me, I was just kind of exploring, collecting some coins. I didn't really do all that. Maybe go to the Yoshi pit stop and I think I grabbed a costume out of there.
Yeah, I did all that. I had more than that, because I had 2 inches of doing that, because like I did end up getting a couple of hands-on minutes with it without, I don't know, I guess I lucked out. I got a little bit more access to that room. But like, I did grinds. I did the Yoshi pit stop. I found an area where it was just rails, where you have to grind off the rails. You have to like literally get through gaps where you're jumping between them and grinding. It was
nice.
And then there was like a little bit like a water section that I saw, but like I didn't get time to get to it. But like I could see, someone was going there, and you can see people what they're doing, right? Like it's cool.
Yeah. Everyone's kind of in their own instance and just waiting for the match to start. So you are seeing, not that I knew who they were, but I was like, oh yeah, there's, Mario is doing his thing. That's another player. Dry Bones is out there doing his thing. Yeah,
incredible. Like I did, like that's where I started seeing, this price proposition where everyone's like, well, okay, what's different? Why is this game so expensive? But like, I don't know. I'm still not convinced that's the price point it needs to be. And like that, we can discuss that later when we review the game. But like, it was just like, I would be happy paying $99, but like, to cross that barrier is just like, okay, what are you selling me on? Like, what's that extra money coming from? Like, what's it worth to you? Like, what?
I mean,
what's different enough to justify that? Because like, there's no game I feel is like priced that high that's worth it to me. I don't think I can justify any gaming that high, but
sure. I mean, like it really does. It will come down to us going hands-on with the full experience rather than these like curated vertical slices of the game, but honestly, out of everything, and I'm not gonna bury the lead at all here. Knockout Tour, the knockout mode was my favorite experience in the entire day, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of that does come down to the way that Nintendo put this together. I mean, it's supposed to be 24 players all together in one instance. You're going through the seamless marathon. It's almost like Forza Horizon in a way where you're going through from one end of the map all the way to the other. And then in between all the maps, you're going from 24 players. Then you're dwindling down to 16 and then 12 and then 8 and then 4. And then whoever lasts that last lap wins the entire thing. And there is nothing more cool than getting a community of passionate Mario Kart or Nintendo fans together. I'm standing next to Marcel. He's killing it. I'm doing my best. And every single time, you hit the finish line and you just hear the or the groans coming from like the people who didn't make it, or, the competitiveness. It's so much fun. And again, I don't know how that's going to translate to my living room when this game comes out. And, I'm trying to put together a party of 24 with friends, or just jumping online and with like randoms. I don't know if that's gonna really translate all that well. But that being said, having 24 players in a room in an instance, hearing them all yelling and laughing and everything, that was one of the coolest gaming experiences I've had in a very, very long time. And that's gonna stick with me, and that left a lasting impression, because it's intense, it's fun, it's frenetic. Like everything about Mario Kart is just like amped up to 11 in this mode. And I was really, really impressed by what I played there.
And that's where I was at too. I was like, this is really cool. Like, just, I got pretty far. I think I got to like the third knockout stage before I finally got bad string of luck, but like whatever. That's another discussion. Yeah, but then you like you said, getting that first lap, and you're like, you hear everyone, kind of just like, it was like, okay, I'm incentivized to keep going, because like I want to know what happens when I win. Like, is it worth going through? And like I watched until the end. Like, it was really cool watching that person, whoever it was, like they won, and it was like really satisfying for me. So like I can imagine, having your friends over, and then you match up with people online, and you're racing not only each other, but you're racing these other people from the world, worldwide. And it's cool. Like, I love that fact that they've added something different. This is the first, I feel like, new big feature that Mario Kart has had in years. So like,
I agree.
Finally see it in action. Like, okay, this is what they should have led with. It's not just the open world. It's the knockout tour. Knockout tour is, I think, the star of the show for me.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that they're not really leaning into this more. I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on the open world, doing these like little challenges, unlocking cute costumes and everything. If I was Nintendo, I would be doubling down on this. Closer to launch, I would be announcing some sort of like tournament, some sort of like online tournament for this sort of stuff. I would be tripling down on knockout mode.
Launch tournament would be insane. Like, they should have something for like, comes in Nintendo New York, and we're gonna host a quick little tournament.
Exactly.
Whoever wins gets a free Switch too, and a game copy of the game.
Something like that. Like, I would be going all in on this mode, because I think it's so unique. I think it's so fun. And I think this mode in particular justifies the upgrade to 24 players easily.
But I want more time with. Like, I wish we had. Like, I was just disappointed that we had this event, and like the two most important games that I wanted to test out, we were just so limited on. Like, I would have loved to. I know there would have been like probably the biggest lineups
right.
Mario Kart and
I would have left.
Yeah, but like, I would have left, exactly. But it's just like, let me experience it on my own. Like, I don't need to be guided through this. Like, I just want to just take 20 minutes and just play whatever I want. Like, I understand like they're trying to keep things close to chest, but
I would have liked a little more time in the open world, because you were talking about doing some of the challenges or the missions, doing the rails and everything. I didn't really experience any of that. I didn't get a chance to find them.
Like, it's cool. It's cool. Like, I like the fact like you can do like you can do tricks and stuff. So like, I don't know if you figured out how to do the tricks, but like I've ended up doing it. Figure out like you have to hold down. I think it was like ZR, and then you just like tilt the joystick, and he does like Donkey Kong would like flip backward.
Yep.
But like, it was cool. Like, I wish like they let me just experience like a Tony Hawk moment. Let me just grind on some rails, and let me just do some tricks. But they didn't give us any of that. Like, it's cool, but the freedom to experience it on my own terms would have been like the cookie cutter moment for me. It would just been like perfect, just a perfect ending.
Sure,
but ultimately it's fine. Like it satiated my curiosity, and like we're a month out, so like really, I mean, I can wait another month at this point.
That's right. Yeah, we're getting real close. Super,
it's crazy
super close.
how close it is. Like I honestly am shocked that we're literally. I'm looking at the calendar. 35 days away.
I know. It's getting ridiculously close. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So then, the next room, the final of these curated sections was dedicated to Donkey Kong Bonanza. I think this is the longest time we got to sit and stay with a game in a single instance. I think this one was around 20 minutes, and essentially it was all broken up into, you get into the first tutorial. It takes you right all the way through it. So you're learning the mechanics. You're learning how to, smash your way through the terrain, climb walls, collect bananas and the gems. And it's a collectathon. So you're collecting all you can. And then eventually you get to the point where you hit this huge cinematic, this story beat, and then you're ushered into the first level, the first instance of a level of Donkey Kong Bonanza. I want to kick it back over to you, Bobby. Like, what was your first thoughts of playing this game? Worth noting, this was the moment that we also got to play with the Pro Controller too.
Yeah, I think Donkey Kong was probably my favorite out of the two games we saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's probably my most anticipated title if the launch game. I know it's coming out in July, I believe, but
that's right. Yep.
It was incredible. Like I know it's not like a Donkey Kong Country, but like whatever this game is, like it's an open world 3D action platform with Donkey Kong, and like the gameplay is pretty solid. I mean, it's a 3D Mario-esque game launching with the Switch 2. So like I know it's not obviously like an Odyssey, but like I'll take it. What I played was incredible. I thought it was really cool. I don't really care for the story. I don't care if there is a story. It's just going around as Donkey Kong and smashing everything, and just like, what more do you need? Like, what more could you possibly ask for? Like, you're free to engage with this world in ways I don't think we've ever seen from Donkey Kong. So, like, cool, great, I loved it.
Yeah, I wish I liked it a little more. Yeah. I thought that the game didn't, in my opinion, didn't really demo all that well, and I think a lot of that is because we're seeing this game in a vertical slice, but in a very
limited. It was limited.
Well, no, I was going to say it's more akin to, we're seeing a vertical slice, but this is the way that you're intended to play the game. Like when you at home start playing Donkey Kong Bonanza in July, this is the way the game opens up, which means that the tutorial in the demo is just as long as the tutorial when you play the game. And for me, that was way too long. I thought by the time I got to the first cinematic, I was already kind of bored of the game because it is so limited. It's very much, you get into it here, smash and break your way through all these rocks to get from point A to point B. And I was like, I need more. I need more of an objective. I want more gameplay here. There weren't any enemies to engage with. You're basically just smashing rocks and collecting all the in-game collectibles or currency. And by the time I got to World 1, I was like, oh, now it's finally starting to open up. But I had already kind of lost my excitement in a way where I was like, I just spent 10 minutes going through this rather shallow piece of gameplay. And now I'm getting it. You know, there's enemies there. There's little objectives. And I'm starting to see more of the big picture of the game. You know, there's these little fossils you can collect and smash your way through, and they unlock costumes and stuff like that. I think that's going to be really cool. We didn't really see what those costumes look like or anything like that, but and there's just other like hidden little treasures in there and stuff like that. I felt like we're getting closer to what Mario Odyssey was, where you know, you're finding little Easter eggs and little fun things in the levels, and that's really cool. But by the time we got there, I was like, okay, I kind of get the game. I'm not really that jazzed about continuing. And that's might just be the fact that I'm not sitting at home investing myself in this full experience.
I think that's what it kind of comes down to. Like, you can only gain so much from a preview. Like it doesn't matter
of
if
course.
it's like a Nintendo or any other publisher. Like you glean a small little vertical slice, and like normally it turns out pretty good. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know. It clicked for me right away. It's just
that's great. Yeah,
it was just like like I think Mario Kart could have done. I don't know. I don't know. I'm torn. I do like it, but like what I do love. Okay, I do love Donkey Kong for what it was, the demo. But I can also see like, is it going to be something to keep your attention span? Because like you said, like the tutorial was kind of long when I think about it, but I didn't mind it just because like you weren't just like standing there talking or listening to something. You
that's
were
right.
able to smash things while you're watching it. So like that kind of made it easier to transition into the game. But like once, and the issue I feel maybe I can only say was once you got to that through the opening level, which was fine, you get to that sub level, which is like the open world section, and if you open up the map, you can see how much is available.
Yep.
You can only do like a sliver of it before the game times out and says, "Well, you can't play anymore."
That's right.
I got pretty far into that sub level. Like I did a lot of punching. I did a lot of digging. I crushed everything. I found some secret, and then there was like a section where you could find like an open portal that takes you to another part of the map, but they wouldn't let us go through them, or if it did, it would actually just reset it. So like the guy wasn't telling me if I should do this or do that. He just kind of was more hands off. But like having discovered the portal, I would have been like, okay, let me just see where it takes me. But like they limited it so much, and it's like, yeah, I can see why people probably weren't too keen on this thing. But like I don't know. It's nice to see the character back. I
of course
feel like maybe it has a good structure. I feel so.
Yeah.
With that in mind, like I'm keen to see what this game's going to be like in July, if we're going to maybe hear more about it and like another direct, like closer to like after the Switch 2 launches. Like I feel like we have to have like a 20-minute like, hey, here's what this game really is, and we want.
I agree.
Be excited.
I that's the thing is I feel like my reaction to this game is going to be totally different sitting down and actually going through it. The one thing and that I'll say is out of everything that Nintendo has shown from like a first party perspective so far, this is the game that looks quote unquote next gen the most.
It does. It looks incredible.
Like I feel like the generational leap between Wii U and the Switch, not all that much. I mean, Breath of the Wild on the Wii U to Breath of the Wild on the Switch doesn't look all that different. Super Mario Odyssey, a gorgeous game, but looks like Super Mario does, like a 3D Mario game. This one, Donkey Kong Bonanza, looks like a next gen game where the amount of particles that are on the screen, the amount of fidelity, color contrast looks so good. The fact that you're talking about the sub level, right, where you're smashing your way through and you get into the portal. What my demo has told me is that the reason it resets was because there are other ways to complete the level.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And but when we went through it, this is for the audience, when we went through it, everything in the level was still the way we left it. So all of the digging and damage we've done to the terrain, the game keeps those instances going no matter how many times you kind of quote unquote restart the level, which I think is really, really impressive from a hardware and performance. Yeah, because you can just destroy like virtually everything until you hit like the bedrock of the level. And it's very, very impressive.
I loved all that stuff. Like that was what I liked. But like when I'm saying like portals, like you there's like a main area you go to exit the level, but like the guy was also telling like there's hidden portals, like you have to dig deep down and you'll find them and they transport you. Like I wish they let us have access to that instead of just like the opening section where you just throw those explosive rocks at these monsters, then and it's done. The demo was just so short, and it was just like I would have preferred just letting us just drop into this one level, no tutorial. That would probably have been better for me, just because like even when I'm playing games at home, I don't really care for tutorials. I would prefer just dropping and letting me learn the controls on my own terms and just moving on. I don't need a tutorial, right? So I mean, that's all I would want. It's just maybe shorten the tutorial or don't even include it in a next demo or whatever you guys are doing. But like it would have benefited from a little bit more hands-on. Like I know Mario Kart got 2 demos. You should have given Donkey Kong two demos. Just open level and like a boss.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what the bigger boss instances will be in that game.
That's where I'm at. Like I would have benefited. I think it would have been a beneficial demo to have that experience with it. Just like more of what's to come, because there were a couple of other demos that actually ended up doing that. And I think they benefited from that in that free play area. So I mean, yeah.
No, I agree.
Big shame for me, but like I'm excited for it. I think that's definitely my most anticipated launch window title is Donkey Kong Bananza.
Cool. I'm looking forward to it too. I just didn't feel like it didn't demo that well, but I'm looking forward to it. I love Donkey Kong 64. Excited we're getting another 3D Donkey Kong game. I just want to play more and see exactly what the game looks like, Yeah, and then Bobby, right after that, then we kind of went into this whole free play area where there was a mix of first-party games like Metroid Prime 4, the upgraded Tears of the Kingdom, or no, it was Breath of the Wild.
They had both of them.
They had both of them, right?
They had both of them, and then Dragon X Drive.
Yeah, Dragon Drive, and then a whole bunch of third-party stuff. So I kind of want to just kick it over to you. Maybe just talk about some of your favorite instances of going through this entire thing, because we got access to a lot of different games.
Yeah. So off the top of my head, like I can tell you my favorite 3 things were, number 1 was Metroid Prime 4 with the mouse. I'm convinced that is the future of first person shooters on Switch. Like it has to be the keyboard, that Joy-Con and the mouse. Loved it. I think it was probably the greatest free play demo that was there. I think it was a good. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was a second best because there's one other thing I think surpassed it. But yeah, that demo was incredible. I was watching people play it when I got in there. I thought it was really cool. It looks incredible.
Yeah.
Finally getting pulled aside and be like, hey, you have to try this demo. Like, one of the guys actually is like, I saw you, do you want to play it? Because it was finally free. And like, I had that 20 minutes with it. It's like another tutorialized level. Like you're walking through this military base that you're in the midst of like some kind of alien attacking, and you're learning how to scan doors,
right?
How to use the morph ball, how to strife and dodge incoming attacks, and like it feels really good. Like it's very intuitive. But then the guy's like, try the mouse.
Yeah.
And, the first thing I did was like, I was like, okay, I don't think I'm gonna like it, but then it ends up being probably the preferential way to play Metroid Prime, and it gets so really incredible that they've got the seamless mode where you just have to lift the mouse off, and the reticle changes to being standard controls, and as soon as you put it back down, it notices right away, and you're playing as Joy-Con and mouse again, and it's just so smooth. I actually was surprised. Like I didn't know how smooth the mouse would be, but Nintendo proved a lot of people wrong. I know I was one of those people. I wasn't really keen on it, but every game that I played with that mouse was like probably 10 times more elevated than it would be with a controller. I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, Metroid Prime, that demo was pretty solid. Ended up defeating the boss and getting my little stamp on my passport, and I moved on. But yeah, that was number 2. I think. And then Street Fighter. I think we maybe played Street Fighter. I played Street Fighter with Riley.
I played it. I played it with Camille. Really cool. Yeah,
it was just fun to see Street Fighter in its current form on the Switch, because it's so impossible to get any current game on the Switch without being a cloud version. So just to see it play natively, the gyro controls were kind of cool. I don't know if I will stick with it because it's basically just you're shaking the controller. It's just weird. I didn't feel like it was just natural to play like that. But like just having that situation of like I can now take Street Fighter on the go if I'm traveling or something instead of being able to get to my console at home. But that was cool. We played Mario Party, which I actually think is way better with the mouse control. I think that was kind of the big one that outside of Metroid Prime that sold me was the air hockey game, which I think was probably the best thing that I played in that little booth. And then that little game where you're controlling the mouse with the toad and you're just trying to get through the electrical fence.
Yeah, like Operation almost.
It was so much fun. I think the mouse is a great way to sell Mario Party for what it is, and like it's a console game, but it's also a party game. And here's how we're gonna shake up that formula that we've known for 20 years now. It's to be a precision based party game.
Yeah.
Loved it. Air hockey was probably the coolest thing we played.
Air hockey was a ton of fun, super chaotic. I do like the two different like demo booths that they had where one is dedicated to the mouse, the other is dedicated to the camera, trying them both out. I do like how it did really kind of justify the existence of the upgrade pack.
It does.
Paid upgrade pack, because it is more than, hey, we improve these games by adding HD Rumble 2 to them. Now, no, we're actually adding new games, new ways to play these games, and we're incorporating the new hardware in really meaningful ways. Now, whether or not you think that a handful of these games justifies the $20 for the upgrade pack, that's totally up to you. To me, I thought that they were a lot of fun. And if you are someone who has friends over or plays online and you're always thinking with friends, hey, let's play Mario Party, this does give Mario Party Jamboree a little more life and a little more luster now on Nintendo Switch 2. I'm not going to be running out to upgrade personally, but for what I played, I think I had a lot of fun with what was available.
It was probably a good indicator that there's going to be a market for it. I don't know if I can justify that price point. Like, I'm not a fan of upgrade packs. I mean, I still think it's just it's mean spirited, but I mean, consumerism, right? So I mean, you get what you pay for. But no, I would prefer the mouse games over the camera. Like, I think I was watching you guys do it. Like, it was fine. Yeah. I don't think it's something I would probably play. I don't think it looked exciting to me. That camera quality was really rough. That's what I kind of got from it. Like it's weird seeing these crisp 4K graphics of like Bowser, and then there's like these pixelated pictures of you guys there.
Yeah, these 10 megapixel 30 frames per second.
Yeah, like it was weird. It was just like, I don't know, it just didn't vibe with me. But like, the mouse stuff, great. And then I saw some, like, I know I caught you playing Breath of the Wild, and like it looked cool. It looked way better. Like, I love the fact that it looks better, but like I've already beat it. Like, I don't see myself going back to Breath of the Wild unless I'm really craving like a Zelda game. And like it looked great, but like there's not much to it. There's that Zelda app, but like really
Zelda notes. Yeah,
I've done what I wanted. I've done what I wanted in those games. I said my piece with them. I'm done with them. I don't see myself going back to them. But like what really sold me was we did the Drag X Drive thing. I thought that was pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. A little too involved for my liking. It was too difficult for me. And like I respect that. This is kind of, if you're in that situation where you're in a wheelchair, like it's pretty difficult to drive those things. Like, much respect to them. Like I struggled with it, but it was just like man, playing with Caboose, like he was doing really well, and then I started getting the hang of it, and like we started riffing and shooting the baskets, and it was fine, but like it was just really tiring to play that game. Like, you can't really play it for more than like a half hour. Like same thing with Arms. I felt the same way. Like, I could play Arms for like 45 minutes, and then like I'm pretty much done. But the one thing that really stood out to me, probably my favorite thing, was I played GameCube with Vic Lucas. So we were just playing.
Cool. Nice.
We ended up playing a couple rounds of Mario Strikers, and like
Sick.
It's you know what? That's the most exciting thing, is we're finally getting GameCube on Switch, and
that's huge.
Yeah, and the games that are coming are really good games. So like there's Soul Calibur 2. It is the best version of Soul Calibur 2. I don't know, Steve, if you've played this one with Link involved, but like I was obsessed with it. Like I went a summer where I literally played it for hours.
Yeah. No, I had a lot of fun with it back in the day. I mean, that's not the game that I'm jumping back into, but Mario Strikers, absolutely. Yeah,
100%. But like, those two are probably the two that were like, I was like, yes, Mario Strikers plays so well. I do like that there's widescreen support. The graphics are obviously improved. Just you can see from when you get your chance, when everyone gets their chance to play, it looks better. Wind Waker's there. Kind of weirded that we're not getting Wind Waker HD with all the quality of life improvements. I assume we're gonna get that a little bit later down the road maybe on the Switch. But
yeah,
Wind Waker, great. But the real kicker for me was getting that. We're finally gonna maybe get a coherent GameCube library on the Switch too. I love that. I don't need to emulate my games. If it's part of Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, I'm down. I'm there. I don't have to worry about finding ROMs. I don't have to find emulators. I can just download my Switch, and that was really cool. That was how I ended up closing my day. It was just 40 minutes in that area playing Strikers and some Soul Calibur, and then it was just the cherry on the top. It was this is it. I'm really sold on this console.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, for me, I've done similar games to you as well.
There were other games there for sure. I know. Just briefly, I'm gonna just say there was Civilization 7.
Yep.
Our Nintendo rep said that she was super excited for it. She actually was looking forward to playing it with a mouse, and I don't know if I have the patience for it, but their Civilization was there. We had Hades 2.
Yep.
There was Split Fiction. There was
Cyberpunk.
Yakuza 0 was there. These are all games that just came out or launched within the last year, and they're all there. They're all coming within a launch window. So if you're listening, there are some really cool games coming, but the ones that stood out were kind of the older stuff for me. But bouncing it back to you, I know you played a bunch of stuff while we were all kind of walking around.
Yeah, in this free play area. Yeah, I already talked about Mario Party. That was well and great. Dragon Drive, I think, was one of the standouts for me, where saw it at the Direct, didn't really do anything for me. I was like, okay, I kind of get it. It's kind of going to be the equivalent to ARMS, where it's this almost not a tech demo, but a tech showcase of using a lot of the hardware that the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to have. And you get set up on this table. It almost has a full mouse pad on the table, and you're kind of incentivized to then start using the Joy-Cons in the mouse position, and then kind of use roll it around just like you would a mouse and everything, just to control each wheel individually. I thought it was really fun. Like you're saying, it's a forearm workout like no other. I don't see myself being able to play it, more than a couple rounds, but I thought it was really intuitive. I liked having to roll one wheel around just to kind of spin yourself, gain your momentum, go up the ramp, see if you can do a slam dunk. There's also some really cool movements and stuff like that where you can put your hands up with the Joy-Cons in your hand and spin the ball, and in the game you're spinning it on your finger and stuff like that, pass it from one to the other. It's a competitive game. I was playing with Camille, and we won by 1 point. So I'm going to take that to the bank. I thought it was a lot of fun, and it really did sell me on the game. And I don't know, again, if it's going to be a game that I pick up myself, but if someone was, coming over or is at someone's house and they're like, hey, do you want to play a round or two of Dragon Drive? I'd be like, hell yes, because it was a lot of fun. So I do wonder what else the game's going to include, because we only got to play this kind of, I think it was 3v3.
Yeah, we did 3v3, and then I guess a tutorial stage or whatever it was.
But I'm wondering if there's going to be other modes or other things in the game.
I feel like there has to be. There's no way it's not going to be. If that's all it is, I don't see that lasting long. But
sure. But for what it was, I thought it was a technically impressive game, and it really did showcase a lot of the gyros and the mouse controls of the Nintendo Switch 2. So that was really cool. What else did I play? Breath of the Wild. See, I shot myself in the foot. I played Breath of the Wild through and through, front to back on Wii U. So if you're going to ask me if I'm going to replay this on Nintendo Switch 2 or be able to carry my progress over, none of those are going to happen. I'm sorry. It's just
that's another thing. It's what if I skip the Switch and I want to play, my old file? I can't even do that. So
can't do it. So unfortunately, as like you said, it looks good. It runs well. The new the improved frames and stuff like that. Awesome stuff. I think that was the moment where it kind of all dawned on me. I was like, oof, I don't even have my save accessible unless they do some sort of wizardry and allow me to somehow upload it from the Wii U, which I don't foresee. So I feel like, my time spent with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom will sadly be left behind me. But that being said, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not.
It's fine with me. Honestly, I will probably just load up my save, play like half hour. I'm like, oh, I'm good. Like that's probably where I'm at, and that's fair.
I can boot up Tears of the Kingdom and see the comparisons there. But Breath of the Wild, I'm certainly not going to replay because I put in a lot of time into that game.
My files are easily over 200 hours each, and like I'm not doing that again.
That's right. Street Fighter 6 was a lot of fun. The gyro controls where you're not even doing like button inputs. You're basically using the analog stick as well as shaking the Joy-Con controller. Was it? Yeah, I thought it was. It's a very boiled down version where you're shaking it up to do like an upper hit, down to do like a lower, like a leg kick and stuff like that. It's a dumbed down version of Street Fighter 6. I think it works again to kind of showcase the abilities of the Joy-Con and the HD rumble and the gyroscope and stuff like that. I think it's cool. It wouldn't be my first and only way I'm going to play the game on the Switch, but I thought it was neat. I thought it was a neat little way to play it.
I would like I played Riley and like I just like I had no chance playing with the gyros control. Like it's just I don't know. Maybe if in a closed environment I could probably do better. But like it was just weird just doing this and it's like okay, well I'm trying to do this and like he's like ducking back or like I'm trying to do like a super move and he's just like ducking forward. It's like okay, well I'm just gonna take the beating and
then sure.
But it was cool. I mean, it's surprising. I mean, it would have been. I mean, it would have been cool to see Mortal Kombat, but like, given it's a family event, like I would love to see Mortal Kombat 1. On the Switch, but like I understand it's a family event. You don't want people smashing skulls.
That's fair. That's fair, I guess. Not that I played myself, but I did spend a little bit of time at the Cyberpunk 2077 demo booth. Just kind of take it all in, and man, CD Projekt Red, whatever they did to get it on Switch 2 and have it run and look that good, I don't really understand it because it looks immaculate.
I forgot about that one actually.
Yeah, like the level of polish. You'd be shocked to tell me that it wasn't being run on, say, a Series S or
a Steam Deck or something.
Or a Steam Deck. Yeah, like it is running with great frames, great color contrast, a lot of fidelity in there. Sure, it's not, running on ultra high settings on PC with, full ray tracing and stuff like that. But I think it really is using a lot of like that new NVIDIA chip to its fullest extent. And I was super, super impressed by that.
I think that's going to be the star of the show is the DLSS and like how they're going to implement. And like we were already confirmed that this. I think Cyberpunk is one of the first games that has like DLSS implementation, and like they're going to use that as like a baseboard to develop games. And like I'm all for it. Like I don't know if I'll be playing Cyberpunk again just because like I've done what I wanted to. And
that's the thing. Yeah,
it's like these are all really good games, but it's like. Unless I'm playing on a really powerful computer where I can mod the game and just add like some really crazy mods to like make it realistic or like change something else, it's like there's no point in me going back, and that's fine.
Yeah,
but
or if they bring in cross saves and stuff like that, maybe there's a bigger incentive down the road for these games. But
yeah, I feel like it's a good introduction to these games if you've never played them before. Like
big time.
I don't think you can go any wrong with having a Cyberpunk on the go.
Well, that's the thing is I think that if you, for whatever reason, have held out this long for a game like Cyberpunk or any of these third-party games that are eventually going to come to Nintendo Switch 2, there's a better compelling reason to get them there versus now, previously there was always, well, it's going to be Xbox or PlayStation because you want it to look the best. On the original Switch, it was always the conversation of like, okay, well, maybe I'll get it there if I want it on the go. Now I think that there's a way better conversation of, well, you can still have it on the go, but it's still going to look really good and perform really well. With the only exception, and I'll say this full-chested, Hogwarts Legacy disappointed.
Yeah, that's what everyone I know said. It was really disappointing. It was 30 frames. It was very pared back compared to like even a PS4 version.
It looked really, really rough. Where I was surprised and very disappointed. Because I'm seeing feet away. I'm seeing Cyberpunk 2077 run the way it is. Yeah, and then I look at Hogwarts, I'm like, well, clearly it's not the Switch. Yeah. It's not the Switch's performance. It has nothing to do with the hardware. It's the port itself. And yeah, the animation, like the jagged edges on the character models, even getting into some of the cutscenes, it's running below 30 frames per second at some points. And the color grading and color contrast on it just didn't really look that great. I was really, really bummed out by that, because again, we're talking about games on the go, replaying games, having these games perform really well on a modern piece of Nintendo hardware. I was like, ooh, man, I'm surprised here. Like, I'm really let down by what I just saw, but hopefully, again, that's just, we still have time. Maybe WB can kind of polish it. And I hope it's just kind of a one-off. Maybe they're just still, greasing the wheels in terms of being able to, use the Switch to developer kits and stuff like that. I don't really know, but I know that Hogwarts Legacy struggled on the original Switch as well. So I don't really know what the issue is, but I was really disappointed in the way it performed.
Which is a shame. I feel, like let's I would say I want to revisit it. I you know what? I played on PS5 or whatever, and like I loved it there. To get that pared back experience on the Switch, like, I don't even think I could stomach. I probably would have just dropped it. But like, the demo was situated next to such a good-looking game. It really, and I could see like there weren't that many people going to that station just because I guess even the demo booths just didn't look enticing to me. And like there are very few people that were just playing it. I saw people sparsely going there to check it out, but then they would just walk away. And I don't blame them. I mean, granted, I don't think Warner Brothers handling the port. I don't know who's handling the port, but we have a couple months. I hope they can figure it out, because that game should be like 40 frames. It has to be to really bring in the magic. You have to have a good frame rate on that, because 30 frames is criminal these days, and like I can't play anything less than 40.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because the Switch 2 is capable of going to upwards of 120, and then you have a game that, to me, looked like it was dipping below 30 at times. I was like, this is really, really bad.
It was rough. Yeah, but other than that, like I feel like we got a good like a mishmash of different games. I'm just my one thing was there was no RPGs there. I would have loved to see FF7 remake.
Sure,
like that would have been a great demo. Just replicate the demo of the PS4 where it was just the opening bombing mission.
Or anything. Just to kind of get an RPG on there. That would have been really cool to see.
There was no RPGs there, and like there were a lot of people who I know who play RPGs that were there. So it's like I know I mentioned a couple people like where's Square, or like where's EA? There's no EA games there. There's no like EA Sports FC. There was no.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
well, there's no like Ubisoft. I didn't think Ubisoft was there.
No, Ubisoft wasn't there.
And it's weird because like we know they have games coming.
Yeah.
Star Wars Shadows is coming, or Star Wars Outlaws is coming.
Yep.
AC Outlaws Shadows is coming. See, I got them confused. AC Outlaws and Star Wars Shadows. Where were they? Like that would have been cool. Like especially because they're both Canadian publishers.
That's true. Yeah. But so like overall, what temperature check? How are you feeling now that you've gotten to play a whole bunch of different games, play with the hardware? How are you feeling now, leading into just over a month before this hardware launches?
I'm ready. Like I know that I'm day one. I'm going to be playing it. I'm excited. I just want to get this thing in my hands and transition over, because like I've put thousands of hours on my OLED and my Lite and my OG Switch, and like I'm ready for that next evolution. Like I feel like we're at that stage where myself, like I'm using my Switch less and less now. Like I just, even if for reviews, like I usually would prioritize like, hey, like, do you want Switch or PC? It was always Switch, but now it's just like, no, I'm good. Like I'll take a PC code, or I'll review on PC. But like, no, I want to switch over. I want to transition. I want to get that console back in my life, because like much as I love the Switch, as soon as I finished Xenoblade Chronicles X, I haven't touched it since. So
Me, I'm again day one. I got mine pre-ordered. I'm ready to go. I got a Pro controller on the way as well. In the pre-orders, I'm locked in on this console, and I'm super impressed by everything Nintendo showed. Whether it's the first party, everything that's going into showcasing the hardware, a lot of the third party stuff as well was super impressive. And like you're saying, now we're really getting into Nintendo in the conversation of when code requests come through and I'm thinking, okay, well, where am I going to play my game? It's not just going to default to, is it going to be Xbox or PlayStation or Steam so I can play it on my handheld? Yep. Now, is it going to be, hey, am I getting it on Switch too, just so I can have a great, robust experience there? And yeah, I'm really excited. I really want to play more Mario Kart World. That's a game on my list. And yeah, I want to go back that I think that entire experience, the way that it was all laid out, the way that we had so much time dedicated to being able to play the games, never felt like we were being rushed through it. I think really helped us as, journalists and personalities and everything be able to kind of go through and then talk about these games in a very fundamental way rather than it just being super glossed over. And yeah, I played Mario Kart and I spent 5 minutes with it and then kind of got pushed along. Like I feel like we got a substantial amount of time with all of these games to talk 100%. About them very competently.
Yeah, like honestly, like I'm really excited for Nintendo. I mean, they deserve their flowers. They've done their work with this console. I know people were lambasting them for not being innovative enough, but like, you know what? It doesn't need to be innovative. Like they've done this for years now at this point. Like every successful console was followed up with another successful console that was just more of the same. And like I've said it before in our preview, even my preview, the NES went to the SNES, and the 64 went to GameCube. It was the same thing. So I'm all for it. I love it. I'm excited. I can't wait for June 5th. I'm there day one. Be there.
Or be Square.
Or
be Ubisoft. I don't know.
Or be Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Be Ubisoft.
Bobby, exactly. That's right. June 5th is the release day. We're going to have a lot more on the Switch in the coming weeks leading up to this release. Super looking forward to it. And I hope everyone out there that's listening to this is also jazzed. And yeah, hopefully you guys follow us along as we continue to talk about the Switch too, because it's going to be a big conversation this year. But that being said, if people want to connect with you, the website, where can they do so across the internet?
Yeah, you can check me out at bpashleadus on Bluesky, Instagram, the other places, the bad place. And then, consolecreatures.com for news, reviews, our discussions. You can check out our YouTube, wherever your feet desire. You pick your place and we're there.
Amazing. And as for me, you can find me across the internet at svigvari. Appreciate you all for tuning in, listening in. And until next time, we'll see ya. Bye.